Is overthinking costing you time, energy, or money? I've been having multiple conversations with clients this week about the impact of their thoughts and particularly how overthinking is getting in their ways, is slowing them down, is hindering their ability to move forward, to achieve the goals they want, or just go to the next level of success in their business and their life. So I thought it'd be worth sharing some ideas around overthinking and how that can really impact both our time, our energy, but also um, our income. And it's one of those things that thinking, when I look at all my clients across the board, I'd say overthinking is probably the most common reoccurring theme that people struggle with, that they battle with, no matter what's going on, whether it's stress, anxiety, fear, lack of confidence, lack of self-belief. Um, the one thing that then creates from that place is this level of overthinking that gets in the way, that kind of gets people feeling like they're stuck, they're not getting anywhere, or they're kind of going around in circles, almost effectively feeling like they're chasing their tail and getting nowhere. But thinking in itself, and particularly having the ability to have that big picture vision, is often a really important skill set. If you're running a business, a team, a family, a sports team, you need to be thinking of lots of things. Project manager is a classic one. The times I've seen people who are, managing big projects and tasks, but they, without realizing it, they feel as if they've got to apply that same level of intensity and detail to other areas of their life, and then they end up getting completely overwhelmed. So it can be a good skill, but there's a fine line where it tips over and then becomes a hindrance. And overthinking then creates this loop where it then creates indecision, which then can lead to procrastination, and then that sense of feeling stuck, which then generates self-doubt, and then the loop goes round and creates even more overthinking. So if you're not where you want to be, or you find yourself stuck in your own head, in your own thoughts, then we need to see how you can start to shift your focus, change your thinking, and start to focus your attention on where you want to go rather than what you're not doing, what you haven't done yet. Because the sequence goes: thoughts lead to feelings, and then feelings lead to our actions or our inactions. So if we're not taking the actions to achieve the results that we want, and often we know what we shouldn't be doing, but we get even more frustrated because we're not doing it, then we need to reverse engineer that process. Because when you change your thinking, the quality of your thoughts, then that changes how you feel in terms of your motivation, your enthusiasm, your clarity, your confidence, to then take the steps that are going to help you to achieve the outcome that you desire. And when we look at my belief plus action equals achieve kind of formula, that's exactly what's going on there. We need to increase that self-belief and confidence that we have. We need to kind of back ourselves to take the steps we want. But then in the action piece, we need to take consistent steps. And when we take that consistent forward moving momentum, even if they're just small steps, then that really counteracts that kind of indecision and feeling of getting stuck. And then we can create the results and achieve the outcomes that we want. And then that reinforces a positive loop. So on one hand, we've got the overthinking loop, and then we've got the believe, action, achieve loop on the other side. So if you feel sometimes that you get stuck in your own head, that you are not achieving the results you want, that overthinking is creating that procrastination, which can also lead us to another common one, which is the whole, well, quite quite a lot. Most things come back to overthinking, whether that be imposter syndrome, or the one that came into my mind a second ago was that kind of whole shiny object syndrome, where if things aren't going to plan, instead of looking inward at what we can change, we start looking outward at the external. And it usually gets the mind thinking about what new strategy, what new tactic, what's the thing outside of me that will make the change. But the trouble is, when you get a new tactic, a new strategy, you've still got the same thinking, and then you end up falling back into that trap and that loop, which then is slowing you down, which is costing you time, energy, and money. So, clarity. Get clarity first of all on what it is that you want to achieve, because in that kind of mess and busyness of overthinking, we often lose sight and our focus starts to move away from what we want and towards what we don't want. So break that cycle, stop that, kind of review your goals, review your focus, get clarity on where you're going and where you're heading, and then just focus on the steps that you can take regularly. The next step, maybe it is simply just the next step, or then maybe look at your habits, look at your time management, look at what you're doing in a week and ask you, is what you're doing moving you closer towards what you want, or is it moving you further away from it? Once you've got that understanding and awareness, then you can do something about it. And then another tip or an idea for you is to bring in to your day, your week, your life, weave into the fabric of what you do every day some strategies that help you to get out of your own head and just have moments where you're being more present in the now, where you're kind of getting off that loop of overthinking. And that could be something simple. Everyone has different ways of doing it. There's no right or wrong. Getting out, moving, some form of activity, whether that be kind of physical, full-on exerting exercise, because when you're doing that, it's very hard to be thinking of other things. Some breathing exercises, again, while you're focused on your breathing, you're generally not able to think of anything else. If you're into some other kind of creativity, whether that be doing something with your hands, making something, whether that be in the kitchen or crafting or something like that, just do more of the things that help you naturally get out of your own head and just be present. And that just helps you to kind of create those windows of moments where you're not stuck in that loop of overthinking, which then opens the door for clarity, better thinking. But also the other thing you can do is ask yourself some better questions. Get in the habit of asking yourself some quality questions that divert and direct your focus and attention towards what you want. Because when you get into that loop of overthinking, you then start to kind of ask not so good quality questions, things like, oh yeah, but what if that doesn't work, or I can't do that, it hasn't worked for me before, what if that fails, what if. Well, turn it around and ask yourself the questions that kind of guide you and lead you towards what you want. How best can I do that? What if it does work? What if this is the time? How best can I get to where I want to be? Is this aligned with the result that I want to achieve? Is this moving me forward? Anything that just helps you to kind of keep going in the direction that you want is up to you. It's your life, it's your mind, it's up to you. You can stay stuck in the rut of overthinking and leaving everything to chance and hope things will change on their own. Or you could start to make some changes to think slightly differently and to put some strategies in place that may well just make the difference to help you to get to where you want to be. So I hope there's a few ideas in there that helps you to make some changes. And then I encourage you just to think about, if there's one thing that you could do differently, if there's one thing you could change today, this week, what could you introduce that could help you to improve the quality of your thoughts, which will then improve the quality of the action and the steps and the momentum you're taking, and ultimately get better use out of your time and your energy, because it does use up an awful lot of energy thinking and overthinking. And just think about if you could create some headspace, if you could create some clarity, how you could redivert that to something more constructive, and then ultimately then that can help you to achieve the results you want, to get to the next level, and then maybe even make more of an impact and even more income in your area of expertise. So that's it for today. Feel free to let me know what one thing that you are going to introduce that's going to help you to stop overthinking and start making more of an impact in your life. Take care. Remember, what your mind believes, you will achieve.